Hey guys, Wirecat Audio, back at ya after an extended period of rest and relaxation. Had to take a break. Anyways, quick video response here pertaining to two questions for Collective Voices, I believe, who has, like I was saying in the other Collective Voices video response, purchased the whole real guitar suite, which is pretty awesome, and he also got Amplitude. I want to keep this under 5 minutes, so we're going to move along here. Two questions. One, and I'm hearing a lot of this, Ample Sound has put out their own suite of electric and acoustic guitars. I have not tried it. I'm thinking about downloading the demo and checking it out. I have looked at some of the YouTube videos. There's not a lot of user videos, that's for sure. I haven't found any user videos actually of people actually using it. But the company videos that they put out, it looks pretty impressive. And it looks like it's pretty playable too, but you never know until you get it. It goes pretty deep. It kind of goes another level under the surface of where a real guitar stops. They kind of take it a whole nother level under the surface, so you can really fine tune your sound and just totally nut out on it, which is cool in some ways, but in other ways I really enjoy the simplicity of real guitar. You don't have to think. I don't want to sit around programming stuff all day. I just want to play. So that said, let's move into sounds. Collective Voices is still kind of looking to nail the jazz performance, and a lot of people are looking at, since I guess a lot of companies quit their download. I know that Line 6 used to offer an online, what they called a tone locker, and you could go just search like someone's name, whoever your inspiration is, and get a decent preset for that, or something to get you started. And so we're hearing a lot of people that are keyboardists and not guitarists are like, where do I start with a tone? How do I build a good guitar tone? And what my recommendation is start with your presets. I don't use Amplitude, which is I think what Collective Voices is using. I'm using Line 6. And here's a little, I'm sure you've seen this interface. There are some, actually several jazz settings. There's Riverside Jazz. If you just go into what you want to do is start in the clean, because the jazz setting is a clean guitar setting. There's actually, it's not that complicated at all getting a jazz. I mean, it can be complicated. It's complicated as you want, but getting a jazz tone, it's a pretty clean tone. I mean, there's not a lot going on, really. So it's basically just a clean tone with a vintage head or a vintage amp. Here we have a 1964, what they're calling black face, which is kind of a term for a Fender, I believe, black face Lux. And the head is a 4x12 1968 green 25. So you just gotta mess around with your heads and your cabinets, amp cabinets. But basically, here's one called Riverside's Jazz, and it's not that impressive really, unless it's all going to be about your articulations and how well you're going to play jazz. So just want to use a spring reverb. Probably, here's a, let's see, badge. There's one called Gypsy Jazz, and you might want to I would use definitely the Les Paul. You might want to push your as far as your pickups, push this way to the left, so you're getting a lower, fuller tone rather than this skinny. So, and then I'm holding this stupid camera, but if I set it down for a second, you might want to not use bends. In jazz, think about it. They're not using a lot of bends in rock and roll type items. They're more. So you're using that quick slide, the pitch bend I'm sliding up to, and using that articulation. Anyways, I don't have my jazz skills at the top of my head right now, I'll tell you what. But if you go in, the point being, if you go in and just look at, I'm sure Amplitude has plenty of clean settings. So you want to go into those settings and just go into the clean. And sometimes the name will hint, it'll allude to what it sounds like. I enjoy this springy. That has a nice kind of dirt to it. And don't be another thing is don't be afraid to use two different. If you're recording one track, don't be afraid to use two different implementations or two different instances of Real PC, because you know, ultimately, if you want to do a complex performance, you might, you know, need more than just the bends and articulations offered, unless you have two pitch bends or something like that. So perhaps on one instance of Real PC or of Real Guitar, you will be using the pitch bend for a slide, and then on another one, maybe you're using it to just bend, or maybe you're using the down to lead out, and another one you're just using it to just slide down. So don't be afraid to use multiple instances if you need to, albeit for one track. So let's see if I hit everything. Yeah. Jazz patches, man, I wouldn't sweat it too much. I would just, I think it's more about playing jazzy licks and playing in a jazzy fashion than finding a jazz patch as a magic bullet, because you're very, very exposed. You're hugely exposed. You can't. There's really no effects to hide behind. There's very limited reverb hide behind. So it's really going to be all about really taking advantage of your articulations and really taking advantage of your style of playing and what you're playing to make it jazzy, because you know, it's like singing a cappella, man. I mean, there's really, you're hugely exposed. I mean, there's no delays or a compression or very little distortion to hide behind. And jazz isn't unlike rock and roll, where mistakes sound wonderful. You know, it's all about making beautiful mistakes. Jazz is not so much like that. It's all about accuracy and just, you know what I'm talking about. So I'm just gonna shut up. Hey guys, take it easy, and hi to my friend in Turkey, Sajay. I don't think I have his name right, but really cool guy in Turkey I've been corresponding with. And to all the rest of you, hope you have a great day, and I hope you answered questions. If you got any other questions, put them in the comment box, and I'll talk to you later.